Welcome, one and all, to a brand new episode of Ask a Ghost Hunter with me, your host, Ghost Hunter and author Rick Hale. So, before we get to this week's subject, I just want to talk a little bit about something really awesome that I did yesterday, something that was a lot of fun, and really something I never thought that I would find myself doing, and that was acting in a couple of short films. And in case any of you are thinking, no, it was not pornography. No, it was a couple of short horror films. One of them I actually had lines in, was based on Jekyll and Hyde, that classic story by author Robert Louis Stevenson. And another one which was called The Passage. I was only an extra on that. It's kind of it's a vampire story with a Titanic tie-in. That's right, Titanic, as in the boat that went down. It was for Spooky Ventures, which is headed up by my good friend Gary Hill, a brilliant writer and director and producer. Just an all around really awesome guy. So I just wanted to say thank you so much, Gary. I know that you said that I can call myself an actor now, but I'm going to leave that up to you and the talented people that I got a chance to work with yesterday. It was a lot of fun, so thank you so much. So, this week's subject, it's one that typically gets my big fat mouth in trouble. Allow me to explain. So, last night while waiting to go pick up my son from a friend of his, I decided to take in the paranormal video and commentary show, Paranormal Caught on Camera. I kind of like watching those every once in a while because they do put some things on there that even make my brain say, wow, that was pretty cool. However, at the same time, I watch this show and the people commenting on it, they're very pro with these videos. There's a whole lot of confirmation bias that goes on this show, and pretty much with any paranormal TV show. And see that, yes, that spiderwebby thing that went across the camera, that was definitely a ghost. And it's like, no, I'm pretty sure that was a spider web on the lens of the camera. And so this brings us to this week's subject, and it might be a two-parter depending on where we're at in about 10 or 15 minutes, because there really kind of is a lot to go over here, but we'll see. Maybe I'll try to keep it within that time frame. So that our subject is a question that I have been asked many times. Rick, why do you hate paranormal television shows? So that really is an answer that I can give simply in two words. I don't. I actually kind of like some of the paranormal TV shows. And it's not that I hate them. I just think that it could be done better. Like I said before, there's a lot of confirmation bias that goes on with these television shows. There's a cold breeze. Well, that's a ghost that's walking through the room. I heard a door creak. Oh, well, again, that's a breeze that's blowing a door shut just a little bit, just enough to cause it to creak. Or I just saw a shadow. That wasn't a ghost, that was your shadow, or one of these small army of people that is involved with the production of these paranormal TV shows. So allow me to just say, like I said before, I don't hate these TV shows. In fact, I do believe that some of these TV shows have done a lot of good for the paranormal community and the field of parapsychology, ghost hunting, psychical research, paranormal research, whatever it is that you choose to call it. One of those things that it has done well and has, really helped out this community, it has brought awareness to this phenomenon. Either it be haunting phenomenon, or aliens, or cryptozoology, or psychic activity. These shows have brought awareness to this. I mean, the field of parapsychology or psychical research has been around in an organized fashion since at least the 1860s, starting with the London Ghost Club and then moving on to the Society for Psychical Research in the 1880s, which was just sort of like an offshoot from the Ghost Club. A couple of the academics left the Ghost Club and then went in and formed the Society for Psychical Research over in England. And then it just moved on over and helped accentuate what was actually going on here with spiritualism in the United States. But so that's what these television shows have done over the years. It's brought awareness. It's made people understand that, yeah, there are things that happen that we can't quite understand. That's awesome. Like, I will admit, when Ghost Hunters first came on, in the I think it was in 2004, I was like, wow, this is great. Finally, a television show that properly shows how it is that us ghost hunters have been doing this for decades already. I mean, by the time that show had come on, I had already been actively investigating ghosts and hauntings for 13 years. Been interested in, since 1982. So it really did. It really showed it properly, how it should be done. And even the show Ghost Adventures, the first 2 seasons I actually liked, and even Paranormal State. These are like the big 3 OG television shows. The problem is they started to get a little bit weird. Ghost Hunters had a lot of credible people who came forth and said, there's some fakery that's going on here, and it would really seem that there was. However, they appear to have gotten their shit together since then. Ghost Adventures decided to kind of go the whole demon route, where every unpleasant spirit that they ever came across was a demon, as well as Paranormal State. Paranormal State did that as well. These shows were sort of filtered more in through a religious, faith-based, not really faith-based lens, but through the faith of the people that were on the show. And everything was a demon. Everything that threw something at them was a demon. And really, there is a great deal of fakery that goes on with these shows. Now, a lot of people will say to me, Rick, these shows are for entertainment purposes only. And I get that. And I understand that. And they are very entertaining. It's very entertaining watching people walk into a haunted building and screaming and yelling at something that may or may not even be there. Chances are it isn't, because believe it or not, hauntings are exceedingly rare. That is, what I have found. And I've definitely, as a lifelong ghost hunter and paranormal investigator, I've never come across anything that I would say, yep, that's a demon. And I know that I've said that in previous episodes. But, and I get it. These shows are made for ratings. They are made to make networks and producers money. And that's great and everything. But if you're going to say that this is for entertainment purposes only, don't present it as being real. Don't present it as being every place is haunted, everything has a demon, every creaking door is a ghost slamming a door, every cold breeze is a ghost moving through a room or a building, because that's just not the case. It's not a scare a minute out there when you're really actually doing the real work. It's actually can be kind of boring at times, just sitting in a cold, dank basement waiting for something to happen. And that really is what the problem with paranormal TV is. And I mentioned it already before, and that, of course, is confirmation bias. People are going to believe what they want to believe. And even if they feel like, turning their brain off a little bit or suspending disbelief, but that's what a lot of these television shows do. They confirm people's already existing biases rather than showing them what really is going on. And that is the biggest problem in paranormal television. Another problem that paranormal television seems to really put out there is that anybody can be on these shows. Anybody can, become famous by being on a TV show. And, I'm here to tell you that that is really not the case at all. Unless you know somebody, you're not getting anywhere near the Discovery Plus channel. You have to know people. You have to already be in the network in order for anybody to ever say, yep, I'm going to use that person on a television show. I've been in documentaries, hosted a few different podcasts, or co-hosted as well, written 4 books on the subject of the paranormal, and probably 1,000 articles pertaining to hauntings, cryptozoology, and ufology. And people still say, Rick Hale, who the frig is that guy? Which I actually think is kind of funny. And I'm okay with that, believe it or not, because I'm not out there to do this work to be on television. I'm out there to do this work to educate people on the subject. And I think that is one of the 2 biggest problems facing paranormal television. So how is it that we can make it better? How is it that we can make it right? Well, first off, networks right now really aren't producing paranormal TV shows because kind of a market saturation that happened there over the last 20 years. A lot of television shows. I mean, Zach Bagans himself, I think the last time I was looking at Discovery Plus on my TV, he's got like 13 or 15 shows that he's either in or his name is attached to. So they're really not licensing anything at the moment. But if they do, and I'm speaking to you, the TV producer, just be honest. Show what this work really is. Don't go in for all the thrills and the frills and the scares and all of that kind of stuff. I mean, show what this really is. Put people on the show who are less personality and more person trying to figure a mystery out. People that are going to go into a place and not scream "dude, run" at the at something that is vaguely frightening. That is a way that you can fix this. That is a way that you can make these shows better. Just get rid of the personalities and put real people there. People that really do this work. People that have given themselves over to it. And before anybody else says anything, no, I'm not talking about myself. There are several other great men and women out there who are doing this work who deserve to be on television. And I mean that sincerely. So that is the long answer to, Rick, why do you hate paranormal television? Which is something that I have been accused of on podcasts, gotten a few nasty emails, gotten a few nasty DMs and Facebook messages over the years. And it's like, I don't hate it. I just think that it can be done better. I think that this community and this and that the field of psychical research and paranormal investigation and ghost hunting deserves better. So thank you so much, everybody, for watching. And again, go over to Spooky Ventures over on YouTube. Give them a subscribe. Say hi. Check out their short films. And there will be more from me in the future with this. I'm taking over, folks. So, hey, until next time, as I always say, stay spooky.